Hey, welcome back to Growth Groups. Today we're going to be starting off with Mike's bad joke of the week. So, if you have a bad joke that you want me to tell in our upcoming videos, then send them to me over Instagram or email me at mike@southshorebaptist.com. Here's the joke of the week from my brother-in-law, Jeff. Did you know that 10 times 2 and 11 times 2 equal the same thing? 10 times 2 is 20, and 11 times 2 is 22. Okay. So bad jokes are great. So if you have a good joke or if you have a bad joke, hit me up and send them to me, and I'll share in an upcoming video. So for announcements this week, we have this girls conference. So the Therefore Girls Conference is happening at the church. So we're a host site. It's a video type of conference that's happening down in Texas. But we're hosting a group of girls. So if you're a girl and you're interested in coming, then the conference is February 19th and the 20th. The sign-up info is on the church website. Or you can talk to your growth group leader for more information about that. But register sooner rather than later because registrations are limited. As we dive into growth groups this week, we're looking at John chapter 6, which is really, really long. So you don't need to read through and study through the entire thing. I'm going to give you a flyby, and you and your growth group discussions can kind of focus on what section you really want to dig into. But in this chapter, this long chapter, we see Jesus caring for physical needs, for emotional needs, and for spiritual needs, and then people having to make a choice about whether or not they're going to continue following Jesus. It starts off talking about Jesus feeding the 5,000 is one of the more famous miracles that you've probably heard about in children's Sunday school, growing up, and whatever. But how Jesus cared for the physical needs of the people in order to show and display his power and his care. He cared for their emotional needs when they were in the sinking ship, right? When the storm came and it seemed like they were gonna that the people were full of fear. Jesus came and showed his power over his power to provide for their emotional needs. And then he talks about how Jesus, how he is the bread of life who's come down from heaven. And it talks about Moses and the Exodus, clearly saying that he is the manna from heaven. If you remember when Israel was wandering through the desert, God provided manna every morning for the people to collect in the desert, to eat. And this was what they ate. This was their food. This was their daily bread. And so Jesus says, I am the bread of heaven. I am that manna that God provides for us physically, emotionally, spiritually. And then this chapter wraps up with a bunch of people leaving. And it's kind of ironic that it's verse 66. So it's John 6:66. When a bunch of people leave and they say, forget this, like, I'm out. And Jesus turns to his disciples and he says, what about you? Are you going to leave too? And I love Peter's words where he says, where else will we go? For you alone have the words of life. And so that is the question for us is, do we trust and believe that Jesus is able to help us and to care for us and to lead us and in real life, not just like the spiritual stuff that we usually talk about in church and youth group and whatever, because it's easy to just think about how Jesus cares for like my soul, but he doesn't actually make a difference in my real life. He doesn't actually care for like anything that's real. He just cares for like the spiritual stuff in eternity. So will you trust Jesus like here and now and later in eternity? That is the question is, do you trust him? Like with real life, not just with like fake eternal spiritual stuff, which is real, right? But like, do you really trust him and believe him and obey him in real life? Or will you, like all the other people who walked away in 666, will you walk away and just say, like, I just can't? So have a great week and send me your jokes, sign up for the girls conference, and follow Jesus. Have a great week.